Have you ever had a big dream that dream was taken away from you even before it started? That happened with me. I had a big dream to go to university and become a teacher and have an impact. And that dream was taken away in just a second, leaving me with broken heart, shattered confidence. My whole life collapsed. Show hands if any one of you had similar pain. I feel for you. I see you because I have been there. That's why I stand in front of you today, sharing the importance of confidence. Before I start, I want you to talk about the intellectual property notice. The slides of this presentation are protected, nothing to be shared, copied, or used without a written approval. Is that fair? Yeah, write in the chat box, please, yes or no. Thank you. I'm going to speak about the importance of confidence, how I claimed my confidence, and what's the impact of confidence in my private and my professional life, and what are my lessons that I learned. You might really ask, who is Viviane and what does she know about confidence or leadership? Is that a fair question to ask yourself? Definitely yes. Let me tell you, I became a global humanitarian leader serving the United Nations Refugee Agency for 20 years, from 1980 to December 1999. A recipient of Nobel Peace Prize certificate in Sudan in 1981. I became a recipient of UNESCO Peace Prize certificate in Armenia in 1996. I became a CEO of two companies, medical practices, for 20 years. Colandra Health Hub and Kuroi Family Practice. I built them, managed them, and then I sold both of them. I became the CEO of the Future Power Academy. This is a company from which I am presenting to you today. I became a CEO of Sunlight Kenmore. This is my property development company. I am a keynote speaker. I spoke on stages. I spoke at Santa Clara University in California, and I am a confident transformation coach as well as an author. I spoke at the next top speaker and I won. In the first one, became one of the 100 top speakers, and the second time, one of the 50 top speakers. This is the book I published, and it is on Amazon, Subconscious Shift from Self-Protection to Self-Love. Is it okay if I share a bit about my background? Yes, thank you. I grew up in a small town in the north part of Sudan to a Syrian Christian refugee family. I studied at the Catholic private school. Can I ask you, where is Viviane from these beautiful, lovely people? Yes, that is me. Thank you. Now, my journey, I grew up as a child, loved, nurtured, unconditional love. And as I grew up, I started to feel the burden, the weight of the cultural expectations and demands. Day after day, those demands became like rocks on my shoulder. And those rocks have created limiting beliefs and heartaches that I struggled in silence for years. until I got my freedom. I was denied university. I was denied a scholarship to the US. I was forced to quit a job I loved. I was forced to stay at home, wait until I get married. That was my family expectation. I had to be quiet, respectful, obedient, do as I was told. And I don't matter. My voice has no value. But there is always, and when I ask why, because I am a girl. I struggled with these emotions in silence for years. And that resulted for me not having a degree, no fluent English, no experience, and a mixture, a cocktail of pain and limiting beliefs. But there is always light at the end of the tunnel. And I truly believe in that. Nothing is fixed. Everything has a beginning and an end. So how my situation transferred? I got married. I got my freedom. I became like a bird who flew from the cage. I married an amazing noble Armenian man who was also a refugee. And this is a photo of our wedding with my family. And we were blessed with a beautiful son, Homer. He got married and he's blessed with twin boys. Do you think I was ready from that town to become a city girl? You are right. Absolutely not. But I faced it. And now I said yes for something it is unthinkable. I couldn't really even in my wildest dream to say yes or to do what I have done. And I want you to really realize the transformation resulting from the confidence I got. Oh, I joined the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees. Do you think I was ready? Absolutely not. I was scared. I was fearful. I was shaking. I was trembling. Part of me is telling me, who are you to work for the UN? What do you know about the UN? You have no English, you have no degree, you have no experience. And they are right. And another part of me is saying, go for it, Vivian. That was your dream that was taken away to really serve and make an impact. Guess which one I chose? Definitely I chose yes. Even when I was not ready, when I was scared, when I was confused. But I said yes. And at that moment when I said yes, and when I stepped into UNHCR world, and I understood UNHCR mission, and I understood the needs of refugees and our responsibility to protect them and give them quality life. Guess what happened inside me? Seeing this is the conditions of the refugees we were serving. What do you think this has done on me? Will I really feel stuck, going in my crazy and scary movie in my head, or I had to step up and face reality. At that moment, I had to step up because I saw in front of me those people are suffering. And when that I had a friend and I was working so hard because I know that I don't have the knowledge, but I have faith and I have desire. A friend of mine came to me and she said, Vivian, you are working so hard. Why you don't really do a self-development? I said, what? What is self-development? I really don't know what is that. She looked at me as if I am coming from Mars. She said, you don't know self-development? I said, no, what is that? She said to me, okay, she gave me this book, The Way to Live a Life, The Way to a Life Complete Fulfillment by Michael Domenico Roland. That was the beginning of my self-development. When I started to understand there is something that could help me change. Do you think I was ready to change? Write on the chat box, yes or no. I was not ready. I was not ready. I was afraid because I was stuck in my head, resisting change. I'm happy with what I'm doing. I know what I've now learned, and that's okay for me. And my friend, who is a really true friend, she kept on insisting, no, Vivian, there is more for you. You are a committed person. You have to really work on yourself to grow. Again, I became very confused what she means. She introduced me to a mentor. She said, this is my friend. He's a coach. Politely, I just waited to listen. Do you think I was convinced? No, I was not convinced. I was happy with my comfort zone. She insisted. You are not seeing what you are not seeing. She confused me more. What this woman wants from me. And then at the end, I had to lay down my guards and accept. I said to her, okay, tell me more. Now I have this friend of hers who became my mentor, who talked to me about different modalities, different programs. And I started, when I allowed myself to change and to adapt to change, that rocks on my shoulder started to drop. Things become clear. I started to see differently. I started to feel differently. I started to act differently. And then I became a junkie of self-development. I wanted to master everything to help myself. And how can I help others? I became a master for NLP, hypnotherapy, timeline therapy, emotional freedom techniques, affirmation, meditation, many things that helped me. And I'm so grateful that I changed. I allowed myself to change. What would you think would happen if I just stuck in my limiting beliefs and in my comfort zone? I will continue to be the bookkeeper. But then I grew up and I climbed the ladder fast. I became from a bookkeeper to an administrative assistant in different departments. And then I was sent on missions. And then I became an expatriate and I served in many countries. So what self-development have you had? Can you please write down in the chat box? What have you done with yourself to grow, to unleash and to grow and to develop? Confidence is a byproduct of alignment between priorities, values, and purpose. And that is when my first golden circles being created. I aligned myself to my priorities, my values, and my purpose. I understood what is priorities, what's important for me. And I'm asking you now, what is important to you? I understood my values. And I am asking you now, what are your values? And I understood my purpose. And I am asking you, what are your purpose? Is it okay if I share with you some of my priorities? Vision, adaptability, self-awareness, strategic thinking, and change management became my priorities. I want you to write yours. I give you a minute. Please don't share it. You don't need to share it in the chat box. This is for you. Be as honest as you could to yourself and think and write what are your priorities. Is it okay if I share with you my values? Thank you. My values, service became number one priority for me. Integrity, empathy, resilience, and accountability. I'm now responsible for these people. I want you to write down. Take this opportunity and write down. You don't need to share it in the chat box. What are the important values for you? Write it down. I give you a minute to write it down. And is it okay if I share with you some of my purpose? Thank you. Resilience became my priority purpose. Authenticity, empowering others, relationship building, effective communication. Now I ask you to write your own purpose. Why you do what you do. Be honest to yourself. You don't need to share it in the chat box. I give you a minute to write it down. For me, when I aligned my priorities, my values, and my purpose. It shaped. It really made a big shift in me and helped me to stand side by side to the refugees, listen to their needs, feel their crying, create programs, and implement it for them. It helped me to stand side by side policymakers, implementing partners, government officials to reform policies that will help together integrate, together restore hope, dignity, and integrating those refugees in new countries, in new societies. If I haven't done the work to myself, do you think I will be able to do what I have done? Absolutely not. It's all about one decision, one shift, and one transformation at a time that transform lives. Through my work, I became a recipient of Nobel Peace Prize certificate in Sudan in 1981. And through my work, I became a recipient of UNESCO Peace Prize certificate in Armenia in 1996. This journey cleared for me the vision and created the belief that smooth seas do not make skillful sailors. And out of that, resilience, alignment to my priorities, my values, and my purpose, you will see I will speak about the second golden circles that became the result of this shift. Can we play a game? Let us name the countries where I serve, the 8 countries where I serve, 8 war-torn countries. You might know the first one, that was the Sudan, then Armenia, Kenya, Somalia, Armenia, Belarus, Moldova, Bangladesh, and finally in Bosnia and Herzegovina. Now, I want you to really list some of the limiting beliefs that you might have. And I want you to list some of the limiting emotions that you might have. And I want you to take a minute to let what you have written sink in. Because I'm going to share with you the birth of the 3 pillars. I call it the 3 golden circles that I'm going to teach you about. And these 3 pillars: clarity, courage, and calm. Clarity, courage, and calm. These three pillars are so important to lead. And it's a process. To achieve these three, I had to go through a process with my coach when I allowed myself to change. So the first thing I had to learn and to have clarity. Who am I? Who am I? And what are the identities that are running my life? There are, or there are identities that are serving me to grow, and there are identities that are pulling me down to be stuck. So clarity took me to a process to identify and heal. My second pillar is the courage. When I really discovered the identities that is pulling me down, I gathered my courage to build my emotional intelligence and to accept, to make a decision to face those identities and work on them, reset them so that I can have inner peace and lead authentically. So let me ask you these questions, and you can put it in the chat box or you can write it down. And be honest as much as you can. It's only for you. Do you know exactly why you do what you do? Yes or no? Question number 2. Are your daily actions truly aligned with your top 3 priorities that you already listed? That's why I told you write down so that you can really check what you have written. Put your answers. Question number 3. Do you feel confident making decisions without needing other approval? Write your answers. Do your choices reflect what your heart believes, not what other expects? Write your answers. Do you consistently stand by your values even when it is uncomfortable? Write your answers. I want you to really sit. I will give you a minute to sit and reflect on what you have written. Now, that you have seen what is possible when you lead with clarity. You lead with courage, and you lead with calm, inner peace. Imagine what could shift if you had the tools, the support, the structure to make this your new normal leadership life. The truth is, transformation does not happen in 90 minutes or 45 minutes master class. It happens when you make the decision to reset the patterns and rewire the mindsets that have held you back, and to embody a new identity of leadership. Do you agree? If I have not done the work on myself, will I be what I have become today? When I was resisting, and when I look back and I see, and I am grateful, I allowed myself to change. I allowed myself to take the next step. I allowed myself to trust my friend who was pushing me. She saw in me what I could not see in myself because I was like in my blind spot. And that all happened to us. No exception to anyone. We have blind spots that we don't see about ourselves. All what we need to do is to accept, listening and changing, and take the responsibility. That is why I have created the confidence transformation. 6 weeks training, coaching, transforming through the heart framework. The heart framework. It's a leadership transformation. It's a journey designed for you to lead authentically. So is that okay to take you to explain what these 6 weeks, the inner leadership evolution looks like? Thank you. This is the 6 weeks, the heart framework, healing and identifying. That's in week 1. It's a take you deep into the self-discovery journey using scientifically proven tools that I am a master of. Week 2, to embody the leader within, to let you see yourself with a different glasses. Week 3, to awaken your priority. Sometimes our priorities does not really resonate with what are the top priorities. And that is the journey I take you through. And week 4, reclaim your self-trust. That is the beginning of putting the steps for confidence and self-trust. And week 5, transformed leadership. And week 6, the integration. so you stand strong with a new, clean lenses that will see differently, will communicate differently, will empower differently, and will lead differently. This heart program, it heals hidden patterns. The E is to embody your inner leader. The A is to awaken your inner wisdom. The R is to reclaim your voice and power. And the T is to transform, lead with purpose and authenticity. So what the heart framework does, it enhance your leadership skills. The H is to harness self-awareness. The A is to activate courage. The E is to embody emotional intelligence. The A is to activate courage, to stand strong, believing in yourself, not theoretically, but practically. R is to radiate purpose. And T is to transform through growth. When you build your confidence, you will radiate it in the way how you communicate, in the way how you empower, in the way how you present yourself as a leader. And all of that reflect on your team. They see you, they trust you, and they will accept to transform with you. And that is where your business will go to the next level. And that is exactly what happened with me. Without transforming myself, I could not be the right confident leader for my team. And that is why I'm calling you today. To work on your inner self, to build and become the confident leader. This is the core value of my offer. I will leave it on so you can really read it, and you will see it is all deep work, deep journey. It needs commitment. I will leave it on to really see what it is. Now, going through the 6 weeks, plus myself giving you my full attention and my presence one-on-one to help you dive deep into your self-discovery, and using the modalities that help me transform through the program, the heart framework. All of this, the total value is around 9,997 US dollars. But today, for this masterclass, I'm giving it at a very highly discounted, and it's only $2,997 US. The total value is $9,997 US. Today, my offer to you is $2,997 US. You are going to save $7,000 US, and it's only limited to 10 participants. One decision, one shift, one transformation at a time. That is all it takes to lead with confidence and purpose. Let me tell you, this leadership transformation program is for high achievers battling self-doubt and hesitation, for professionals who overthink and second-guess decisions, for the heart-centered leaders craving calm, clarity, and purpose, for the visionaries ready to rise above burnout and perfectionism, for those who are driven individuals ready to trust themselves and lead with absolute confidence. And let me tell you, this leadership transformation program, it is not for those who are seeking quick fix without doing the inner work. It is not. It's not for the people unwilling to take responsibility for change. And it is not for the leaders attached to control, blame, or ego. It's not. And it's not for anyone not open to emotional or mindset transformation. It's not for those who are content staying in their comfort zone. One decision to heal, one shift to embody your power, and one moment to transform your life. Your transformational leadership starts today. So I hope my presentation taught you something. And if all what I can really say, I want you is one decision, one shift, and one transformation at a time. And that is what I have done. So I open now the floor for question and answer. Thank you.